What's the fastest you've seen a crowd go from excited to horrified? I was at a Bo Burnham show he was recording for his Netflix special, but unfortunately this part didn't make the cut. He was cracking jokes as usual, then asked everyone in the audience to crack their knuckles on the count of 3. It was the most horrifying evil sound any of us had ever heard. I was at a Russell Peters stand-up show in a large theater. He starts some banter with the guy in the first row, who had a huge tattoo on his arm saying Skylar or similar name. He asks all about Skylar. It's the guy's daughter. He starts making jokes about daughters, some sexual innuendos etc. and then asks how old Skylar is. The guy in the audience goes, "She passed away." It was pure crickets after that. Our Budweiser's press conference that turned into a filmed suicide. We had a local TV anchor in Florida named Christine Chubbuck say, in keeping with Channel 40's policy of bringing you the latest in blood and guts and in living color, you are going to see another first in attempted suicide and shoot herself in the head. Circa 1974. The footage never got out, so it's not well known. I saw the movie about her. Did viewers literally witness it live? Woodstock 99. Everyone was super cool and chill, and all of a sudden it felt like the wind shifted. It was palpable, like you could cut the air, it was so heavy. Got a super bad vibe, so we packed up immediately and left. By the time we got to the first gas station, reports of fire and rioting started. I wonder why we get those feelings like that. Like we get feelings where we can tell something is wrong or something bad's gonna happen. Last week at a BLM protest, they were letting anyone come up and speak through a megaphone. This man got up and started talking about his newborn son and how he wanted to make sure we have a better world for him. He then started talking about love and unity, and the guy essentially had the crowd eating out of the palm of his hand. Then he brought up Bill Cosby and how he was arrested on allegations, and the crowd turned instantly. The entire assembled students from the elementary school where teacher/astronaut Krista McAuliffe taught at, who were broadcast, lived to the world as they watched the Space Shuttle Challenge explode seconds after takeoff, killing all hands on board, including their teacher. There was a guy performing risky stunt dives in a river for money. He pulled off great stuff and people were clapping and clearly hyped. One of the tricks went really bad, and he crashed headfirst into a rock from a decent height and killed himself. I always remember what Panjulit said at the end of his nail gun routine. It was like, we find it morally wrong to put someone in real danger for entertainment. And I have to agree. They think it's immoral to make the audience complicit in danger. Basically, you're paying to see a magic show, not a medical emergency, so there shouldn't realistically be that possibility on the docket. Detroit Tigers almost perfect game. We all saw the play and the dude was out. We all start celebrating. Then we slowly realize the ump called him safe. Celebration quickly turned to the opposite. Technically not horrified, but still the fastest 180 I've seen or been a part of. I was at a Van Halen concert a few years back, and David Lee Roth comes on the mic and says, "This next one is from our new album." I was at a Rolling Stones concert about 15 years ago. As soon as Mick said that Keith was going to do a song, everybody suddenly had to go to the bathroom. When working on a kids show, a child goes missing within the first 15 minutes of the show starting. Show had an emergency stop, so the parents could plead for the child to make himself known. Nobody was allowed to leave their seats or leave the building. Whole building had to be searched. Everyone assumed the worst, but after half an hour they resumed the show, even though the kid still had not been found. 10 minutes later we got word that the kid had wandered out of the building and was found safe and sound around the corner. To make matters worse, the show was Rapunzel, you know, where the story centers around a kidnapped child. Monday Night Football, November 18th, 1985. Washington Redskins vs the New York Giants. I was pretty young at the time, so being allowed to stay up late on a weekday was a rare occasion. During one of the plays, Joe Theismann was sacked by Lawrence Taylor and Harry Carson of the Giants. The entire stadium went silent as Theismann would end up suffering a compound fracture of the tibia and fibula. What I remember most vividly is that the broadcast kept replaying it over and over again and seeing Shin snap at a 90-degree angle. It made me physically nauseous and had to walk out of the room. If I recall correctly, Following the injury, broadcasting policies were changed so that constant replays like this would not be shown in the future. May 4th 2010. It's de Denkenking in the Netherlands, where we remember all deaths of people that died through or because of war or peaceful operations. It was called to life after WWII. At 8 o'clock, I think, we have a 2-minute silence for remembrance. One person however thought it was fun to scream bomb by something alike, rendering all the people there terrified and running against the barricades in a hurry to get away. The king and queen got escorted away as soon as this happened. 7 to 8 years ago during a concert there was an earthquake, not too huge, but enough for some speakers to fall and to scare the shit out of those attending. At a music festival, Bluesfest, in my city, Ottawa, we had a stage collapse in a windstorm a few years back. Edit. It was actually 9 years ago. The band playing at the time was Cheap Trick, and they sued the festival and the stage company. I was at some weird zoo/animal preserve north of Phoenix in 2012, and there was a tigress in chain-linked compound. This little girl went up to her and blew her a kiss. The tigress looked at her and licked her own, not the little girl's, whiskers, and the crowd went all wild. The tigress shifted a little bit and pissed all over the little girl. The crowd was shocked and horrified, but I laughed my ass off. We were all 17 to 18 on a school trip. Typical week away doing rock climbing, archery, camping etc. At the end of the trip we are gathered in a big hall for one final gathering, and then out of the blue there was a demonstration on how to effectively kill a chicken, using a live chicken that was killed in front of us all for some reason. No warning, so it was a fun week at the KFC training camp, which ended in a game of chicken. The premiere of the trailer for Devil, 2010, at San Diego Comic Con. It was at the annual trailer park panel, where they just show trailers for upcoming movies for an hour or so. It's Hall H, the biggest at the con, and it's packed. The trailer plays, people are invested, you could hear a pin drop. Then the words display on screen from the mind of M. Night Shyamalan. Immediate uniform disappointed awe from 2,000 people. Then everyone cracked up, because we all felt the exact same way. I don't know that horrified is the right word, necessarily, but still. The station nightclub fire. Small packed club. Great White was playing with unauthorized pyrotechnics. Suddenly caught the building on fire. Emergency exits were locked, and people jammed the exit door. 100 died. Thankfully didn't see it in person, but there is a YouTube video showing the whole thing. It is a very traumatic watch though, so wouldn't really watch it unless you want it imprinted strong enough in your brain so that you will always look for exits when going into a crowded area for the rest of your life. There's a brilliant clip of Van Halen playing, or attempting to play Jump. It starts off with an extended synth intro that lasts nearly a minute before the familiar intro comes in. The build up is intense and the crowd are loving it. Then the guitars come in, and oh no. Oh god no. Turns out the synth that's been soloing all that time was out of tune. Nobody realized until the other instruments came in. The comic timing coupled with the cheesy drama of the song make it a perfect comedy moment worthy of anything from This Is Spinal Tap. Pink Floyd often would have giant floating pigs released during the concert. You know, inflatable balloons. This would happen like halfway through the show. Well, people are smoking tons of pot, drinking, doing God knows what other drugs, so by the time the pig is released it's basically like God descending from the heavens. People were losing their shit at the pig. Well, it got caught in one of the wires and caught on fire. You've never seen so many stoners fall to their knees in terror/fear/sorrow over the death of a giant inflatable pig. There is no God anymore. His bacon got fried.